Hey everybody, it's your buddy's pal Anthony, and today I want to talk with you about Batman Curse of the White Knight. This is the follow-up story to Batman White Knight, which I recently read and reviewed for the channel, so if you haven't watched that or read the book, pause this, go do that, come back here, because after the intro, heavy spoilers. Steve, play that intro, please. This story picks up a year after the events of Batman White Knight. We see Joker escaping Arkham Asylum with the help of its warden. Before he goes, he has to retrieve something from his old cell, and he teases that what it is that he's getting is going to be a secret that rocks Batman and Gotham down to its very core. And that's a really high bar for this book to set for itself. And you know what? In my opinion, not only did they leap it, they were about 10 feet over the bar. The mystery is this. The story opens up, we have a flashback to Gotham in colonial times, and Edmund Wayne is battling Lafayette Arkham, who he refers to as Laffy, in the old Arkham Asylum, which is just Arkham Castle, his house at that time. And they have a huge fight, and, Lafayette's been terrorizing Gotham Valley at the time for forever. Edmund was brought there by a monk named Bakar, to help purge the valley of evil and sin and reclaim his birthright and things of that nature. So you think that this is an interesting parallel because he's battling evil. Bruce Wayne's ancestors are really all preordained, but actually what we're going to come to find out is Bruce Wayne is not a Wayne. What happens is Bakar is a member of the Order of Saint Dumas. Yes, we're going to the 90s here, folks. He's a member of the Order of St. Dumas. He brings Edmund over from England to purge the Valley of Evil, like I said. However, when he's done this, he actually betrays Edmund, kills him, throws him down the same well that Lafayette Arkham is at the bottom of now, and leaves him to rot and die. Bakar then assumes the Edmund Wayne identity because it's, colonial times. Nobody's seen Edmund in all these years. It was just Bakar who brought him over and trained him on the way over to America to take out Lafayette. So now Bakar assumes Edmund's identity, he takes his land, he takes his wealth, and really he is now, Bruce Wayne's ancestor. So Bruce Wayne, like I said, technically isn't a Wayne by blood. And you know who is a Wayne by blood in this story? None other than John Paul fucking Valley. They bring him back, and I actually really like the angle they used to bring him back in this as to explain his all his training and whatnot. They say that he's a very highly trained special forces soldier. He was, he's been out of the military for years. He's actually sick and dying, and the elite of Gotham, along with Joker, go to him. They offer him some pills to try to heal himself, and also a chance to get revenge, to complete his holy mission, and take control back of his valley. And we actually come to find out that the name Valley is because Edmund, the real Wayne, he slept with a woman when he was back in Gotham trying to take out Lafayette, and this woman ended up getting pregnant. They saw the writing on the wall when Bakar came and was saying that he was Edmund Wayne, so she realized, she's not going to be able to disprove this or beat this guy. So she runs off with her baby. She takes the name Valley as a reminder of where they came from and what it is that one day one of their descendants is going to have to reclaim, Gotham Valley. However, it's not Gotham Valley anymore in present day, and that's because Bakar, evil son of a bitch that he is, actually destroys the dam walls that was keeping all the water from flooding into Gotham Valley and destroying it. He destroys all those walls. Gotham Valley floods. He wipes away the memory of the real Edmund Wayne and Lafayette Arkham and what happens, and he continues down through the age. Well, not he. His lineage continues down through the ages until Bruce, who thinks he's a Wayne, and like I said, this really sends him over the edge because actually this mystery was set up to be solved by Alfred at the end of the last book when Bruce is reading Alfred's last letter to him because Alfred passed away in the last book. It's actually, he's gifted a journal from the real Edmund Wayne, and he still has the whip for some reason that Edmund Wayne was using. So he had set Bruce on a path to solve this anyway, but unfortunately it's not Bruce that's solving it on his own time. He's solving it while he's also dealing with the Joker and Jean Paul Valley and all their craziness. So along with all the other blows that he gets dealt in this book, he has to deal with this coming out, from an outside source while he's under attack. And this was really crazy because, like I said, I didn't expect that to happen. And that's something I really like about this book and these offshoot from the main DC universe. Because don't get me wrong, the last 2 stories I read notwithstanding, Batman and the DC universe in general do have really great continual stories. But the problem with them is, in my mind, there's really no lasting change. It's Star Trek Voyager. At the end of every episode of Voyager, no matter how beat to shit it was, at the start of the next one, everything is pristine again, even though it's a ship that's all the way out in the Delta Quadrant and they have no supplies. They don't have anything to, really do extensive repairs. And that ship got the shit kicked out of it. That was one of the cool things about Battlestar Galactica, the reboot with Katie Sackhoff. That ship, watch that. I mean, really watch the whole series. But if you have to, just Google, Battlestar Galactica, the ship from the miniseries, and Google what it looks like in the final episode. That ship got put through the ringer, and they can only do minimal repairs. And I don't know why I went off on a Battlestar Galactica and Star Trek tangent. Let's get back to the book. Oh yes, okay, I brought all that up because that's what's great about this White Knight universe that we're in. Batman is getting put through the ringer, and he is still showing the signs of all that. It's not that he's just perfect. He's changing his points of view. He says at one point in the book to Nightwing when they're talking that he can't join the GTO because Napier / the Joker, his greatest enemy, actually exposed that he's useless, that he's been doing it wrong for all these years, and that he's proud of the problem with Gotham because the elites are using the Batman Devastation Fund from the first book to just, keep fucking Gotham over. He's dealing with the loss of Alfred. He's dealing with more loss in this book because through the actions of Jean-Paul and Joker and everything else. At one point, Jean-Paul confronts Gordon, and you think he's just going to give him a beating to send a message to Batman, but he doesn't just give him a beating. He impales him with his flaming sword, and Gordon is down. Before this, Jean-Paul actually attacks Batman remotely in his Batcave. He uses all Batman's tech against him. He has his computer expert hack into the Batcave, turn all of his gear against him. The cave and the manor end up being destroyed, and Nightwing and Batgirl come to save him, but they do so with the GTO, and the only way they can get their help is if they tell them who Batman really is and who they're going to save. His identity is outed. Again, he was thinking about doing it, but the choice got taken away from him, so now that's one more thing he has to deal with. And then, of course, one of the biggest things that he has to deal with is ultimately when he does solve the mystery and realizes that he's not part of the real Wayne bloodline. He starts questioning everything. He starts questioning his family, his mission, what he thought he was doing. Maybe it was corrupted from the start because he's not a Wayne, these noble people who have always been doing good deeds down through the ages. He's actually part of a bloodline that killed these people, that ended that tradition. And now maybe that's why everything doesn't really work out, why Gotham is so sour, because he and the rest of the Waynes from Bakar down are all sour and twisted and spoiled inside. So he has to deal with stuff like this throughout the whole book. So it's to me it feels real. It feels like he's going through real shit. And I mean, it's not all doom and gloom, even though it's a Batman book. There are a lot of really cool stuff going on in this book. There's a lot of other huge reveals. For starters, he goes to Harley Quinn at one point to try to enlist her help in dealing with the Joker and talking to him. He wants her to bring out Napier somehow. This way they can get insight into what's going on with the Joker. Harley says, no, I'm done with that. I can't do this again. I have other things to concern myself with. She stands up to reveal that she's pregnant, and actually, she's screwing with Batman the entire time. He's like, you're pregnant, and she goes, world's greatest detective. And later on, they're walking through Arkham Asylum, trying to search for some clues about what's going on. And as they're talking, she brings up something that happened in Batman the Animated Series when he buys her the dress that she was trying to buy, but the security tag didn't get taken off. And after she gets declared sane from Arkham Asylum, he bought her the dress when he took her back. She's busting his chops about that, saying, oh, you like me, you bought me that dress, you even knew the right sizes and everything. He's like, I am a detective, and she's like, yeah, but that means you were staring at my chest because you even got the bust size right. And she's just screwing with him and things like that the entire time. Harley actually is busting Batman's chops, saying ooh, you like me, that's why you keep coming around, that's why you keep talking to me. Batman actually goes one step further at one point because he takes off his cowl to Harley and reveals himself because he says, I need you to trust me. And, she's shocked. He goes like, what, Napier didn't tell you already? She's like, nope, I had no idea. And so she's really shocked. So that actually builds more trust with them, even more than just revealing his identity and things like that, when he's actually there and helps care for Napier's children, because while they're investigating Arkham Asylum, Harley goes into labor and he has to deliver them. So, he's delivered her children. He puts her up in one of his safe houses because the manor is gone by this point. And it's her and the babies and Batman, and Leslie Tompkins is there. And she's like, Bruce, you better be careful with what you're doing and things like that. So everybody's starting to think that there's a romance of some kind with Harley Quinn and Batman. And it's actually, by the end of the book, it's confirmed, because at the end of the book, after the final fight with Jean-Paul, where, of course, Batman wins, however, I thought he was going to cross the line. So in this book, another good thing they did was they show both Batman and Batgirl snap. Batgirl's father gets impaled and dies, like I said. That sends her off over the edge. Really cool moment. Her and Bullock, she's gearing up. Bullock comes to talk to her, and, she's like, get the hell out of my way, Harvey. And he's like, she's like, I'm going after him. He's like, yeah, you're not going to arrest him, are you? And she's like, nope. He's like, all right, good enough for me. Let's go. They hop in the tumbler. They take off. Batgirl lines up. I shouldn't even say Batgirl because she doesn't have the mask on. She pops out of the tumbler. She has a rifle on her shoulder, lines up the shot, and Batman at the last second throws a line around the muzzle, pulls it away, and, she's pissed off because she wants her revenge. She wants this guy dead. Batman's just like, what are you doing? So shocked that, like, she actually, he understands the grief, but shocked that, she was going to let the vengeance part consume her. But then it eventually consumes him, because at one point he's strapped into the Batmobile. He has a bunch of guns with him, and he almost kills Jean-Paul with them. And then later on in the final fight at the new Gotham Dam, because Jean-Paul ultimately decides he's going to flood Gotham City and try to start all over again, he challenges Jean-Paul to a duel with swords, and they're fighting. Really cool moment with they bring back the Michael Keaton Batmobile. I love that Batmobile, and this Batman declares that's his favorite one too. So this book was all right by me. They're fighting, and Batman gets Jean-Paul down on the ground. He screams shields, and the Batmobile shields up and catches Jean-Paul's helmet. That's how he gets the helmet off of Jean-Paul. They continue their fight, and you think Batman really did it. He slashes him across the throat, opens his neck up. He's bleeding out. But Batman he rips off his mask, can't believe what he did, and then actually at the last minute he breaks out the first aid kit, stitches him up, and is giving him a blood transfusion when the GTO and everybody shows up finally, because of course he's still Batman, and even though he did make some strides in this book towards working with the GTO and things like that, he's still him. So he disabled all their tech and went off to fight Jean-Paul alone, because he did plan to kill him. Saving him was, an afterthought. In the moment, he couldn't go through with it. After this, Batman makes good on his promise to Gotham, because before all this happened, he outed himself to Gotham City. He reveals who he really is, and he asks Gotham for permission to be Batman one last time so that he can go and stop Jean-Paul, who's been terrorizing them throughout this entire book, just as much as he's terrorizing Batman himself. They give him permission in the form of, he asks them to just stay off the streets if they give him their permission, and he's in their equivalent of Times Square, and it is completely empty. So he got their permission for this one last fight, this one last night as Batman. He has the whole fight with Jean-Paul, and then afterwards he turns himself in, and then the hinted at, the teased romance between him and Harley Quinn actually gets, it doesn't happen, but it just gets set off in a way, because he's in the back of a squad car waiting to go be taken away, and he looks forward, and it's none other than Harley dressed as a cop, ready to take him, and help him escape. They have this whole conversation, and she's like, I can't lose you too, the way I lost Jack. I have these babies, I only have you, we have each other. He talks her out of doing it, and as she exits the car, and he puts his hand to the window. She draws a heart in the rain. So yeah, I guess in the next book I'm about to read, Batman the White Knight presents Harley Quinn, maybe we'll see that explored some more. And that's the main story of the book. There's a lot of other stuff that happened in it too. Like, we have an end to the Joker in this, because at one point he and Azrael kidnap Harley's kids to lure Batman to Arkham Asylum. Batman's dealing with Jean-Paul at Arkham. Harley's going after the Joker. Napier actually reemerges again a little bit to try to help Harley, but not fully. So he throws the gun to Harley and she shoots him. And so that's the end of Joker and Jack Napier in this book. Who actually kills the Joker? This is crazy. This is great, though, because you can't go back from this. So if you haven't caught on, I really enjoyed this book. And honestly, I would go as far as to say that James Gunn should be given all these, and this should be the Batman story for his DC universe. It's already looks like it has longevity in it because it's going to go to Batman Beyond, and the side characters are really fleshed out. You know, like I said, you're turning Harley into Batman's love interest, and she's not crazy anymore. It's just a sane Harley Quinn. You made us like the Joker in the first book. Well, not Joker, excuse me. You made us root for Jack Napier in the first book and kind of not root for Batman. Who the hell does that? If you can translate some of that stuff to film, that would be amazing. But now I want to know what you think. This was Batman Curse of the White Knight. I am Anthony the Rambling Nerd. Please leave your comments below. Find me on Instagram. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about anything you want. Up next is Batman White Knight presents Harley Quinn. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. Steve, play me out, please.